Hi again. This video is going to be about how to quickly write row forms from a given row using transposition and inversion. So a very long-winded way to write rows would be to just use the interval series that we learned in the last video, but that would take a really long time. So here I'm going to show you kind of a quick way that's going to be very useful to you. So let's start again with P8. As our reference row, though to be honest, once we've written any other row down, anyone could be used as a reference to do this, as long as you understand whether the rows are related by transposition or inversion. What I'm going to try to do first is write another P row. So let's say I'm going to write P 11. So we know that a P row is labeled according to its first pitch class. So we know that our first note in P here, 11, will be 11. I'll use the E for this. So how do I write the rest of the notes? First question you're going to ask yourself is this a transposition or an inversion? And since P rows have the same interval series, it's going to be a transposition, right? So that's what I want to do over here, is to figure out what the transposition is. And luckily, this is where our labeling system is very, very handy. The number that we write in this spot will allow us to easily figure this out. So P8 to P11 stands to reason that that's going to be a T3 transposition, right? 8 transposing to 11. So now, to write the rest of this row, all I'm going to do is for each of these pitches in turn, I'm just going to keep adding 3. I'm going to keep transposing every pitch to 3. So 6 will transpose to 9, just adding 3 to every note. 9 will become 0, and so on and so forth. Everyone, won't you pause the video now and try this out on your own, and I'll show you what I have. Okay, here's my solution. So check your answer. Of course, it's easy to make mistakes, so confirm that you have all 12 pitch classes, and as long as you started off correctly, you should be okay. All right, let's try another scenario. Let's say that I have P8, but now I'm going to try to write an inversion row, and so I'm just going to try to write I2 just as one option. So again, process number 1, is it a transposition or an inversion? Well, naturally, since I'm going from P to I, it must be an inversion. Now, so what do I do when I know it's an inversion? What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the numbers again here. And now, since it's an inversion, I'm going to sum them together, because that's how inversional numbers work. So I'm going to sum 8 and 2 together, and that means T10I. All right. So that means as we're doing this, all of our sums are going to be 10. We know that the first number of I2 will be 2. So I'm going to keep creating sums of 10, and that will naturally produce the I row. So therefore, 6 and 4 will also be 10, 9 and 1, and so on down the line. Pause the video now and try this out on your own, and let's see what I get. Okay, here's my result. Check to see that you got the same thing. Again, what should result is a 12-tone row. So when going from P to I invert. For the next example, I'm going to start from P8 again, and now I'm going to try to do a retrograde row. So just remember that retrograde means a retrograde of a P row. So this is also going to be a transpositional relationship, because P to P is transposition. Only thing that's new is going to be the retrograding. You're going to write your answers backwards. So another thing to think about before we even do this, R0, we know that the last number is going to be 0. Might be good to write that down from the very beginning. All right, so P8 to R0, that's going to be T4, right? It's a transposition, so the distance, ordered distance, is 4. So the answer will be T4. That's what I'm going to be doing. But then I'm also going to retrograde. So T4 then retrograde. You can see that. So what you could do is just simply write P0 first and then write your answers backwards. Or you can do this. What I usually do is I just kind of do it from back to front. So I'm doing T4 in this case. So 8 becomes 0, 6 becomes 10. So again, T4, 9 becomes 9 plus 4 will be 1, and so on and so forth. Pause the video now and try this out on your own, and let's see if we get the same answer. Okay, here's my answer. And yes, it usually comes out a little sloppy if you're writing it backwards, but this is what I got just by doing T4 in reverse from P8. Okay, for the last example, let's do an retrograde inversion, an RI row. And I've just chosen RI4. So again, remember that retrograde inversion means the retrograde of, or RI4 means the retrograde of I4. So I know that 4 is going to be at the end here. And again, is this transposition or inversion? Well, it must be an inversion. P to I is an inversion, so it'll also be true for RI. It's just going to be going in reverse. So what is the inversion going to be? I sum the two numbers, 8 and 4, so it will be T0I. So remember, with inversions, you just sum the numbers together. If it's transposition, you're doing distances. So what in this case I'm going to do is T0I, all the sums are going to be 0, 8 and 4, and then I'm going to retrograde. And like I mentioned with the last one, what you can do is you could just write I4 out and then write it backwards. So kind of a two-step process, or you can do it all at once. This is sort of what I'm doing here. So I'm going to create sums of 0, 8 and 4, 6 and 6, 9 and 3, and so on. So pause the video now and try this on your own, and let's see if we get the same answer. So there we go. So here's my answer. Check yours, see how you did. So again, this video is just showing you that it's possible to create another row form very quickly, as long as you can understand whether you're dealing with a transposition or an inversion. And then you simply apply that, and you can quickly write the row.